we were more or less like we were landlocked. And this is what Kibaki thought should be looked into, so that we get a link from Ethiopia by road all the way to Isiolo to Nairobi. So the concept of the Thika superhighway was supposed to be the starting point. And those of us who remember how the Thika Road was congested, narrow, and it could not afford to get heavy traffic.
Very good.
So to be able now to link Moyale to Nairobi, it meant that you are increasing traffic. Traffic automatically had to increase. So you start from where the traffic is starting and make sure...
Just a minute. I mean, the traffic has just passed the Muthaiga underpass, and the other significant thing about the Muthaiga underpass is that the president actually used to live less than 2 kilometers from there. So, judging by the speed that they are taking, they have taken about 15 minutes from Lee Funeral Home to Muthaiga roundabout, which actually, you know, a lot of people do not know that Muthaiga used to be a roundabout, right?
Yes.
They have taken about 15 minutes, and that's a distance of about 7 to 8 kilometers. So it's proper to say that I think they are traveling at a speed of about 50 to 55 kilometers an hour.
Maximum 60 thereabout, right?
Maximum 60.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, bearing that in mind that this is a city road, it is not expected that they will breach the 50 kilometers mark set out under the highway code, unless they want to breach that. Well, but I don't think they would want to do that. So it's proper to say that probably maybe they are, you know, they're doing a speed of 50 to 55 kilometers. So it's proper to imagine that, you know, barring no incidents on the road, we expect these entourage to be in Othaya by around 9:30 thereabout.
Absolutely clear, perfect pictures. You can only get here at KBC Channel 1. You can never get this anywhere else. The tracking, the trailing of this convoy snaking its way is 15 minutes past 7, and they're doing perfectly well. Clear pictures, steady pictures. Only at KBC Channel 1. This is the place that you are going to get this until the last moment that President Mwai Kibaki will be laid to rest. And of course, the formation is also amazing, with precision, as we spoke about it, O'Brien, because with military, everything has to be in order, you know. And when you ask engineer, this is quite significant, because even President Mwai Kibaki, wherever he is, so to speak, he must be so happy about his achievement, you know. Look at that. Just look at that. It's free-flowing. Probably even the convoy itself is enjoying the drive. Engineer?
Yeah.
Look at that. Well, engineer, I mean, when you see these, you know, this kind of highway, and you know, we must prop our camera people. I mean, they're doing such a brilliant job. I mean, it's not easy, you know, to brace the morning chill and of course give you such kind of beautiful pictures. But when you see this kind of highway, and bearing in mind that you are one of the minds, you know, that conceptualize and conceive this idea, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. Let me say something that Kibaki used to tell us, that when you are doing your work, when you are giving service to an wananchi, don't think about yourself, just make sure you give service. And let me say, I'm very honored to be here today, when the president is taking his final journey through the Thika superhighway.
Yeah.
And I'm here in the studio, KBC, talking about the achievements in infrastructure.
And look at that drone shot, man oh man. Why else can you get that?
The issue I was pointing out about linking, the final link for Kenya to Moyale had to start from Nairobi. And the traffic count, of course, as Professor would maybe had pointed out, traffic count has to be done. And you project the years to come. The increase in every development has an increase in traffic. So all that is done statistically and projected, so that you can be able to say from the time the superhighway was constructed up to today, was that projection taken care of? And we can say yes, because even up to now you can see the superhighway is still functioning well.
It's still functioning.
Without that projection in the design and planning, you get everything wrong. So that was done. And
the other thing is that you worked closely with Professor Chege?
Professor Chege, you know, when you are in the profession, you know one another and you work together. He knows a lot, and of course he's senior to me. He knows a lot, and there are things that he can say that I might not know, because when I went to politics, some of these things now as an engineer, you become a manager, engineer manager, and you leave some of these things to professors to continue, because they are mentoring the student, the young people, and inculcating to them the real issues. Let me point out that when the design for the Thika superhighway was done.
Sorry, just to step on your shoes. If yes. The casket is now leaving. That is part of the BRT, the bus rapid transport system that is under construction on this highway. It is being undertaken by the Nairobi Metropolitan Authority in a bid to decongest the city. I also know that you are going to discuss this because it was part of your plan. So if you just continue.
Yes. What I was saying is that when there was a transition from the Mwai government to Kibaki government, and there are so many things that were never done. The engineers, more or less, were very idle. So to reactivate the engineers to start now working as engineers was one of the priorities in 2003 that we undertook with the engineer rider, because you were two of us, all that big ministry, roads, public works, and housing. Kibaki had a slim government when he took over, so there was one minister and one assistant minister in that big docket. So the issue we had was, the priority was to get the engineers back on track, to start thinking like engineers and work as engineers, because previously there was a lot of confusion about infrastructure. Nothing was working. So once we did that, then the design proper for our roads started, and we also made sure that we brought on board the consulting engineers, because the work became so much that we could not cope with the engineers in the ministry. So consulting engineers were brought on board to be able to cope with what Kibaki wanted us to do in the ministry. Unlike some of the projects being undertaken today, you find the design and the concept for the superhighway was done by our engineers.
All local engineers.
Everything, yes.
Kenyan.
Kenyan engineers.
Wow.
And like now we have some Chinese coming. It's like turnkey projects. They come with money and with their designs, and you find even our engineers are not getting involved. Everything is in Chinese. So some of the projects that are being undertaken by Chinese, they have not been designed by our engineers. And I take a lot of exception to that, because that's not the way it should be. Our consulting engineers, you find they're idle, because those projects are the ones that they are supposed to be designing on behalf of the government, on behalf of Kera, Kura, and Kenya. So there is something that we need to change about the way we are undertaking our projects. We have a lot of expertise in infrastructure, and I'm not happy to say that we are not making full use of our engineers, and Professor will attest.
Professor, you want to say something in regard to that?
As a testimony.
I would like to say, coming in from the point of view of an economist, the fact is that just as Engineer Toro has said, Kenyan engineers were responsible for planning, supervising, judging the management of the construction of the road, Thika superhighway, by the Chinese. And he's quite right. What is happening at the moment is that we have a fully packaged kind of model which has come where the Chinese design, construct, finance, even in some cases, as you are seeing in this road, actually operating. It's a different model from what President Kibaki has said. Today, Kenyan engineers are involved in the construction of roads in South Africa, London, Rwanda, France, even in places as sophisticated as Hong Kong. Kenyans, our own well-trained Kenyan engineers. Why is it not possible for them to do that work here? We should be asking ourselves that. And it's not just that. We have Kenyan experts in different areas. Let me say in your own area, communications, working outside the country and doing exceptionally well. We have to pull that talent back here so that we can utilize it for our own economic development. And I believe that this road here, incidentally, the Chinese did not fund this road. It was Kenya government and the African Development Bank.
Yeah, ADB.
African money built Thika superhighway.
At a cost of 36 billion shillings.
Exactly. And our own engineers designed and supervised it. So I think it's a model in that way.
And it was executed on time?
On time.
Without delays.
Yes. To the satisfaction of Kenyans. Let us use that as a model for the future, please.
Victor, I'm sure you want to say something now in regard to where the team, the entourage is at this point.
Absolutely. If you look at the formation, the speed is relatively high today.
Yeah.
Having in mind that the distance to be covered is slightly longer, but nonetheless, it's 25 minutes past 7 in the AM. It's a chilly morning. I mean, it's quite amazing to see how the military is taking care of this situation. Look at Thika Road. The shots are amazing.